She didn't want anyone seeing her get out of my car. So I left her life that night. If you like real relationship stories with hard lessons and clean endings, subscribe and hit like. It helps more than you think. The first time she made me feel less than, it wasn't loud. It wasn't even cruel on the surface. It was small, casual, almost efficient, like she was fixing a minor inconvenience in her day. And that's what scared me the most, because people don't casually hide someone they respect. Her name was Madison, but everyone called her Mads. She was the kind of woman who could walk into a room like she belonged in every corner of it. Perfect nails, perfect hair that looked messy on purpose, a laugh that sounded expensive. She lived on her phone, but she could still make you feel like you were the only person she saw when she wanted something. We'd been together almost 2 years. Not the kind of relationship you post about every week, not the loud, attention-seeking couple stuff. We weren't taking matching vacation photos or putting each other in bios. We were more like a quiet routine, built from long workdays and shared meals and the little compromises you don't even notice until you're the only one making them. I thought that meant we were solid. Now I know it meant I was convenient. It started with little things. Her jokes about my clothes, about the way I talked to waiters, about my car, the same car I'd had since college, a silver Honda that wasn't flashy but never failed me. She called it my dad car. She said it like it was cute, like it was harmless. I laughed along, because that's what you do when you think the person loves you underneath the teasing. And also because I didn't want to be the guy who can't take a joke. The truth is, I was taking a lot more than jokes. I was taking the weight. I worked full-time in distribution, the kind of job where your body remembers every hour. On paper, it was simple. Move product, track inventory, make sure things ended up where they were supposed to be. In real life, it was steel-toed boots, aching shoulders, and overtime shifts that didn't feel optional when rent kept rising. Madison was building something. That's how she described it. She wasn't unemployed, she just wasn't stable. She did content work, influencer stuff, brand deals that came in bursts and then disappeared for weeks. She'd be high for 3 days off one paid collaboration, then stressed for 2 weeks because she was waiting on payment. At first, I admired her. I liked that she was ambitious. I liked the dream in her voice when she talked about turning her life into something bigger. I wanted to support that dream, so I covered things sometimes, not always, but enough. A grocery run here, a utility bill there. When her laptop died and she needed a new one for editing, I pulled money from my savings to help. She promised she'd pay me back once her next campaign dropped. She never did, but she would kiss my cheek, call me her rock, and say I was the only guy who actually believed in her. And I would convince myself that was worth more than money. Looking back, I can't believe how easy it was for me to accept crumbs as proof of love. That week, the week everything ended, started like most weeks did. Exhausting and familiar. Tuesday, I picked up an extra shift because one of my coworkers had a family emergency. It wasn't my problem, but I said yes anyway because I've always been that guy. The one people call when they need something covered. I got home late and found Madison in the kitchen with her phone propped up against a cup, filming herself making iced coffee. She looked up and smiled like I'd walked into a studio, not our apartment. "Hey, babe," she said, cheerful. "You're home early." Early. It was almost 10 at night. I didn't even correct her. I washed my hands and asked if she'd eaten. She shrugged. "I'm waiting. Natalie's coming over." Natalie was her closest friend. A girl who always smelled like perfume and had a talent for speaking in compliments that sounded like insults. The kind of friend who would smile at you while slicing you apart. Natalie and Madison had a whole little world I wasn't part of, and I'd learned not to ask too many questions about it. Their nights out, their group chats, the constant opinions about who was winning at life and who was embarrassing. When Natalie showed up, she didn't knock. She just walked in like she owned the place. "Oh my God, Maddie," she screamed, dragging out the syllables. "You look so skinny." Madison did that fake laugh. "Stop." Then Natalie noticed me, standing there in my work shirt. "Oh, hi," she said, like she'd forgotten I lived there. I nodded. "What's up?" They didn't say much else to me. They took over the living room, turned the TV off, put music on through Madison's speaker, and started scrolling through outfits on their phones like it was a professional meeting. I went to the kitchen and started wiping down the counters, mostly because I didn't know what else to do with my hands. At one point, Madison leaned into the doorway and smiled at me. "Babe, can you give us, 20 minutes? We're trying to figure out looks for Saturday." I looked at her. "For Saturday? The rooftop thing." "Mason's party," she said, like it was obvious. "Natalie's bringing us in. It's going to be insane. We need to plan the vibe. The vibe." That word kept coming up in her world like it was a requirement to breathe. "Sure," I said. "I'll just be in the room." She smiled and tossed me another casual kiss on the cheek. It felt more like being patted on the head. Behind the closed bedroom door, I listened to them talk, laugh, judge people I'd never met, plot out outfits like they were building a brand strategy. Then Natalie said something that stuck with me. "Yeah, and if you bring him, don't make it obvious you came together. It kills the whole thing." Madison laughed. I know. I felt that laugh in my chest like a cold stone. I sat on the edge of the bed staring at my hands. For a few seconds, I told myself I misheard, that she meant something else, that Natalie was joking, that it was just them being dramatic. But the problem was, my brain had started collecting evidence months ago. Little moments, little comments, little lies that weren't big enough to explode over, but big enough to make you feel unstable. Like you were always standing on the edge of something you couldn't name. Thursday came fast. Madison was in that strange, excited mood she got when she believed the weekend would rewrite her entire life. She was cleaning, but not cleaning like I cleaned. Not scrubbing baseboards or wiping corners. It was more like rearranging things that would be visible in a mirror selfie. She moved the lamp, fluffed the couch pillows, took a picture of a candle and posted it. When I got home, she was sitting on the floor surrounded by clothes like the apartment was a dressing room. I took one look and already knew what was coming. "Can you help me pick?" she said. I sighed in the way you sigh when you're trying to stay kind. "Sure." She held up a black dress. Too boring. A sparkly silver one. Too much. Then she pulled out a tight light blue set, top and skirt. The kind of outfit that didn't look like something you wore to talk to people. It looked like something you wore to be photographed. "What about this?" she asked, eyes bright. "It's nice," I said carefully. "Nice." She repeated it like I'd insulted her. I meant it in a good way. She rolled her eyes and tossed it on the bed. Natalie said, "It's perfect." There it was. Natalie's opinion mattered more than mine. She changed in the bathroom, came out, and stood in front of the mirror. It was perfect on her. I couldn't even deny it. She looked like she belonged on a rooftop with city lights behind her. "You look amazing," I said. Her smile softened for half a second. "Thank you," she said, then immediately reached for her phone again. I watched her take selfies. Delete. Take more. Angle her body like she was practicing being someone else. And for the first time, I wondered if the person I loved was just a role she played when it benefited her. Saturday evening, she was glowing. She did her makeup at the Vanity, humming along to some playlist called Hot Girl Prep. I sat on the bed pulling on a clean shirt, trying to look like I was excited too. I had planned to go with her. That was the assumption, at least. We were a couple. Couples go to parties together. But I noticed something. She never actually said, "You're coming." She just moved around me like I was furniture. When she was done, she stood up and spun once. "Okay, we have to go," she said. I grabbed my keys. She glanced at them, then back at her phone. "Yeah, we'll drive." "We." But her voice was flat, like it was a ride arrangement, not time together. In the car, she was silent except for the tapping of her screen. I could see the reflection of messages in her eyes. At a red light, my phone buzzed. A notification from her. She'd added me to a group chat. Rooftop Crew. The chat was filled with names I recognized from past stories. Natalie, a guy named Mason, two girls named Bree and Tessa, someone called Kiki. It looked like a digital party before the real one. Natalie, he's driving you? Madison, yeah, he insisted. Mason, bring the good energy only. Kiki, just have him drop you right by the side entrance, lol. Bree, no offense, but his car isn't the vibe. My eyes stayed on the road. My fingers tightened around the steering wheel. Madison glanced up like she could sense me reading it. Don't get weird, she said casually. They're just playing. I didn't answer. She sighed. They're not serious. It's just jokes. It didn't feel like jokes. It felt like people deciding what I was worth, and my girlfriend quietly agreeing. We got closer to the building. Trendy neighborhood. Music spilling out onto the sidewalk. Lines outside bars. People dressed like they'd stepped out of a commercial. Madison sat up straighter like she was switching into performance mode. Then she pointed ahead. Okay, so just pull over around here. Around here? She leaned closer, lowering her voice like it was a reasonable request. Let me out like a block away. I don't want anyone seeing me get out of your car. There was no anger in her tone. That was the worst part. It was said like she was asking me to drop her near the grocery store entrance because her heels hurt. I felt something inside me go completely quiet. Not rage, not sadness. Just the sudden understanding that I was not her partner. I was her transportation. And now I was something she wanted to hide. I put the turn signal on, pulled to the curb, stopped right there, not a block away, not around the corner, right there. Madison blinked. What are you doing? I kept my voice calm. Get out. She stared at me like I'd spoken a foreign language. What? Get out, I repeated. I'm letting you out right here. She laughed. A sharp little laugh meant to shame me back into obedience. Oh my God, you're being dramatic. It's not that deep. It's literally just a block. I looked straight ahead and nodded once. It is that deep. Her smile faded a little, replaced by irritation. Fine, whatever. You're such a baby sometimes, she said, and yanked the door open. Before she got out, she turned back. Don't wait up. I'll get a ride home. Then she slammed the door and walked away. I watched her go. Sparkly outfit, confident stride, phone already in her hand, probably texting the group chat that she'd arrived without the embarrassment. I sat there for 10 seconds, listening to my own breathing. Then I put the car in drive and went home. The apartment felt different the second I walked in, like it knew. I didn't turn on music, I didn't sit down, I didn't pace. I went straight to the closet and grabbed a duffel bag. I started packing in silence. Only my things. I didn't take the couch. I didn't take the TV. I didn't take anything that could start a war about who paid for what. I took my clothes, my work boots, my tools, my laptop, the framed picture of my sister and me from when we were kids, my coffee mug that had a chip in the rim and somehow still felt like home. The more I packed, the lighter I felt. Not because I was happy, because I wasn't negotiating with reality anymore. My side of the closet emptied fast. Her side stayed full, overflowing with dresses and tags and hangers and expensive promises. I left her makeup and her skincare mountain untouched. I went to the kitchen and found a sticky note. Then I paused. I thought about writing something emotional, something that would explain the hurt, something that would make her understand, but I knew she wouldn't understand. Not really. So I wrote one sentence. Since you didn't want to be seen with me, you won't be. I put it on the counter under her keys. Then I took my bags to the car. I didn't slam the door. I didn't curse. I didn't break anything. I just left. I drove to my friend Caleb's place across town. It was late, but he answered the door in sweatpants and didn't ask questions until he saw my face. You okay? He asked. I nodded. Yeah, I just needed out. He didn't push. He just stepped aside and let me in. I slept on his couch for 3 hours. At 4:58 a.m., my phone started buzzing. Madison, Madison again, then Natalie, then Madison, a voicemail. I didn't listen. I turned my phone face down and tried to breathe. By morning, the messages shifted from irritated to confused. Where are you? Why aren't you answering? Stop being dramatic. Then, around 9, they turned sharp. Are you seriously mad about last night? This is insane. You're embarrassing me. That one made me laugh because the irony almost hurt. She was embarrassed by my car. Now she was embarrassed by my absence. And for the first time, I understood something clearly. People like her don't miss you. They miss what you do. Caleb made coffee and sat down across from me. You leaving her? He asked. I stared into the cup. I already did. I didn't go back that day. I didn't go back the next day either. I went to the apartment once at noon on Monday when I knew she'd be out. I grabbed the last few things I'd forgotten, including my charger and a hoodie my brother gave me. She must have come home early because as I was leaving, I heard the lock turn. Madison walked in wearing sunglasses, hair messy, and the smell of last night still clinging to her. She froze when she saw the half-empty closet. Then she looked at me. What is this? She said, voice rough. I held my keys up. This is me leaving. Her mouth opened like she didn't have words ready. No, you're not, she said quickly. You're just mad. You always do this. You get sensitive, then you cool down, then we talk. I stared at her. I've never done this, I said. You've just never pushed me far enough to make it permanent. She scoffed, stepping closer. You can't leave me over one comment. It wasn't one comment. She rolled her eyes. It was just a block away. I swear you're acting like I cheated. I laughed once, quietly. You didn't cheat, I said. You just showed me exactly how you see me. Her face twisted. I don't see you like that. That's not true. Then why did you say it? She hesitated. Because you know how they are. So you chose them. I said it calmly, and it landed like something heavy. Madison's eyes flashed with panic. No, I didn't. Babe, come on, don't do this. We can just fix it. Like respect was a light bulb you replaced when it stopped working. I grabbed my duffel. I'm not fixing anything, I said. I'm done being hidden. She followed me to the door. You're making me look stupid, she hissed. I turned back. You did that yourself. Then I walked out. For weeks, she tried every method. Calls from new numbers, emails titled please, messages that started sweet and ended angry, Instagram accounts that looked fake but somehow knew my name. At first it was apologies. I didn't mean it. I was joking. I was stressed. Then it became blame. You're cruel. You're a coward. A real man would fight for his relationship. I didn't answer any of it because I wasn't fighting anymore. I was building. I picked up overtime again, but this time the money went into my own account for my own goals. I started eating better, sleeping better. I stopped feeling like I had to earn love by being useful. 3 months after I left, I ran into Natalie at a grocery store. She was buying bottled water and overpriced salad kits. She recognized me immediately. Oh, wow, she said, staring like I was a ghost. You look different. I nodded. Yeah, she smirked. Madison's been a mess, you know. I didn't ask. I didn't care. She leaned closer anyway. She cried for like 2 weeks. Then she started dating this DJ guy. But he ghosted her after she bought him sneakers. She's kind of spiraling. I shrugged. That's unfortunate. Natalie blinked like she expected more. That's it? I looked her in the eyes. That's it. She didn't know what to do with that. People like Natalie are used to reactions. They thrive on emotion. They need your pain like fuel. I walked past her and grabbed my groceries. 6 months later, my life looked nothing like it had with Madison. Not because I got rich. Not because I had some dramatic glow-up moment with a new car and a revenge body. Because my chest didn't feel heavy anymore. Because my home felt peaceful. Because I wasn't waiting for someone to decide I was worth being seen with. I kept my old Honda. I washed it every weekend. And every time I got into it, I felt the same thing. Gratitude. Because that car never embarrassed me. And neither did I. The last time I heard from Madison was a year later in the form of an email that didn't ask for me back. It just said, "I'm sorry for what I did. I finally understand how I treated you. I hope someone loves you in public." I read it once. Then I deleted it. Because I didn't need closure. I'd already found it the night she asked me to drop her off a block away. I didn't lose her that night. I found myself. Thanks for watching. If you want more stories like this, subscribe to the channel and hit like. And tell me in the comments, what would you do if someone tried to hide you like that?